Hi, I'm Yasmina and welcome to my weekly belly dance lessons. Today we are going to talk about layering. So we're going to take basic moves today and layer a shimmy on top. When we dance, our moves have layers added onto them. We have our footwork, our hip or upper body movement, our arms, could be head movement on top of that, shimmy layered on top of that, so we could have 5 or more layers on one movement. So we're going to take it to the bare bones this week and take basic hip circles, figure eights, hip slides, and then we're going to do the upper body with rib circles, figure eight ribs, and rib slides, and add the basic vibration shimmy or shoulder shimmy on top of those movements. So we're not going to really be walking yet. We're going to just take it in place and add a layer on top of a movement. So our first movement, we're going to start with our hips. So I'll break down the hip circle, the rib slide, and the figure eights, and then I'll break down the vibration shimmy, or what I call a piston shimmy, on top of that. So for our rib slide, we're going to start with our posture, feet flat and close together. They don't need to be on top of each other. They need to be within our hips or our shoulders. I like to keep mine close. So my feet are flat, my knees are bent, the seat is tucked and rolled under, lower abs engaged. My shoulders, I'll lift and roll them back so they're nice and neutral and relaxed, and my chest is slightly lifted. We're going to start with our our hip slide. We're going to start with our weight over to our left, so my hip has slid out to the side, and we're going to take that and I'm going to slide it over, transferring the weight to my right on the other side. So now all my weight's to the right. I'm going to slide back to the left, slide the hips over to the right, slide left, right, left, right. It's almost like there's a string that's pulling my hips side to side. So I'm transferring my weight left to right, left to right. Okay? On top of this, I'm going to add the little vibration shimmy or the piston shimmy. So again, I'm relaxed, seat is tucked, abs engaged, and I'm bending and straightening my knees. My knees are always bent, so I'm just doing it a little more. This is causing my hips to come up and down, or that nice little shimmy. So my knees are fairly doing a large movement right now, so my hip is large. If I want to speed this up, make it faster, my knee movement is going to be smaller, hence getting into a vibration. So you can probably just barely see my hips moving because my knees are going very fast but very small. I'm not covering a large area. So the goal is to keep your shimmy going at the same speed for a long period of time. You don't want to have a nice, big, comfortable shimmy going and then you go, oh wow, it's sped up. Oh, I've just lost it. It's now back to being large again. So you want to work on how long you can keep the shimmy going at a certain speed. And again, you're going to start large to get used to it. Speed will come with practice. So we're going to be doing our hip slide, side to side. So if you want to get the shimmy going first and then add the slide, you can do it that way. Or if you want to get the slide going first and then add the shimmy. Doesn't matter, it's what you're comfortable with and how easy it is for you to layer the movements on top of each other. So my hips are sliding, left, right, left, right, left, and right. If you hear this strange noise, it's my puppy scratching at the door trying to get in. So I'm sliding left, right, left, right. We're not adding any arm movements on this. I'm trying to keep my arms out of the way so you can see my hips going back and forth and the shimmy slide side to side. Okay? Now we're going to add the hip circle. So I'm going to start again with my weight on my left, and I'm going to go clockwise, pushing my hips forward, transferring that weight to my right. So now all my weight is here on my right. I'm going to pull in my lower abs to help pull my hips back to finish the circle, which I've just gone across, and now again my weight is to the left. So I'm pushing my hips forward, transferring the weight to my right, pulling the lower abs in, pulling those hips back, and transferring the weight back to the left. So I've just done a circle around my feet. So this is our hip circle, one of many, but this one I'm drawing a circle around my feet. So again, I'm starting with my weight on my left. My weight is going forward onto the toes and transferring over to the right. I'm pulling my lower abs in, bringing the weight back across my heels, back to my left. So my weight is not only going side to side, but front to back. So I'm going to start with my weight on my left, pushing the hips forward, weight's now on my right, pulling my hips, my abs in, pulling those hips across the back. So I'm going clockwise. So I'm starting front to back. And when you're ready, add the shimmy on top. And again, you want to keep it going at the same pace. You don't want to start really big and then go, oh, all right. You want to keep it going the same speed so it doesn't look like it's all mumbly-jumbly. So let's start with the weight on our right. We're going to go counterclockwise. So again, I'm going to go across the front, transfer my weight to the left, pulling my abs in, bringing the weight and the hips over to the right. So nice and simple, add your shimmy on top. And whatever speed is good for you. Again, I'm transferring my weight, right, front, left, back, right, front, left, back. It might help you with your shimmy. You know, start slow. Start side to side because you're transferring your weight side to side, just going left to right or right to left, however you start it. With the hip circle, you've got forward motion, side motion, back motion, side motion. So you're hitting more points. So it might be a little more difficult to start with the hip circle first with your vibration shimmy, other direction, than it would be, say, with the hip slide, which is only 2 movements side to side. Now we're going to do the figure 8. We're going to do the vertical figure 8. So my body is going to start at an angle, and I'm going to start with all my weight to the back here on my left. I'm going to circle or twist that hip forward to my body is at an angle again, and push the hip and the weight to the back on the right. I'm going to twist my right hip forward, and I've just drawn my 8 because now I'm going to transfer my weight back to the left where I started. So I'm twisting the hip forward, transferring the weight to the back, twisting the hip forward, transferring the weight to the back, and twisting forward. So my feet are staying flat on the floor with this movement of weight to the back, twist the hip forward, weight to the back, twist the hip forward. Okay? They're going to kind of lean or pivot side to side, but they remain the ball and the heel on the floor at the same time. So and again, your abs are engaged while you're doing your back to front, back to front. Now this is our forward figure 8. To do the backward figure 8, which most people find easier, the movement is going to the back, but our weight starts to the front. So I have all my weight right now to the front right. My body is at an angle, and I'm going to twist that hip to the back. My body is now at an angle. My hip is going towards the corner of the front of the room, and I'm going to twist it back. Now my weight goes to the front, and I twist the hip back. Weight to the front, twist the hip back. Front to back, front to back, front to back, front to back. Now we're going to add a shimmy on this. So you can go forward or backwards. We're going to switch. So I'm going to start with the forward figure 8 first. So my weight is back here on my left. I'm going to get my 8 going first, and then I'm going to add my shimmy on top of that. Sorry, I should have worn a hip scarf with coins on it so you could hear. But then it kind of overpowers the poor camera. So I'm adding my shimmy on top of my figure 8. Now I'm going to stop to the front, and I'm going to change the direction of my 8. So now I'm doing the backwards figure 8. So I could, add another layer with my hands following my hip movement. on top of my 8, which is on top of my shimmy. All right, so that's the lower body. We're just going to do those simple basic moves, hip circle, figure eights, and our hip slide. And then just work on, start with getting your shimmy where you don't need to think about it, and it's nice and smooth. And when I'm doing my shimmy, believe me, my thighs are going all over the place, my butt's just going. That's because you need to be totally, totally relaxed in your shimmy. You don't want to be tense, because as soon as you tense and tighten everything, then you lose your shimmy. So keep it nice and relaxed. That's why we have the big skirts, or the skirts to cover the thighs that are like slapping together. So just keep it nice and relaxed. So now we're going to start with the upper body. So with the upper body, we're going to start with our rib slide. So again, we're going to go to the left, right, left, right, left, right, left, and right. Again, as if a string was pulling my rib cage side to side. So I'm keeping my posture with my knees bent, feet tucked, everything's aligned. So I'm just moving the rib cage on top, and my hips are staying still. Just as we were doing our hip slides, the rib cage, the upper body was still. So we're going to start with our left, and we're going to slide the rib cage over to the right. And I'm going to slide it over to the left. And you'll find when you start doing upper body movements, our rib circles and our rib eights, that it's easier if you keep your hands down, rested at the hip bones, than if you have them up and moving. I need to bring my arm down so I don't block the camera. You find it's a little easier. It's almost like that you're hanging on, but you're not. You're just resting. And then once you've gotten the slides or the circles, then you can start raising your arms, adding another layer on top, just bringing the arms up. So on top of this, we're going to add a shoulder shimmy. So when we're doing the shoulder shimmy, it is initiated back here in your shoulder blades, upper back part of your body, and your shoulders, I'm going to start with my right goes forward. When I bring it back, the left goes forward. When I bring the left shoulder back, the right goes forward. So you're just going front, 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 or front, back, back, back. Just simple forward and back. So now my shoulders, like when I started my piston shimmy or my vibration shimmy, my knees were large. Well, my shoulders are large now. So when I want to pick up the speed, my shoulders are going to be much smaller. So it's all up in the shoulders. It's not in the arms. The arms aren't moving. It's all up here in the shoulders. So I have my chest lifted as if I was in regular posture, so it's slightly lifted. My shoulders are down, rolled back and down. And I'm starting my shoulder shimmies in my upper back. So again, it's not the arms, it's all up in the shoulders. Everything else kind of follows. We're all connected. So it's nice and relaxed. You don't want your shoulders up here. You don't want to initiate it in the chest. It's nice and relaxed in the shoulders. So we're going to add this shimmy on top of our slide. So let's get the slide going first. But again, it doesn't matter. You could get the shimmy going first and then add the slide. But we're going to start with our slide first. Our arms are out. And we're going to add the shoulder shimmy on top. So I'm going side to side, slide left, slide right, slide left, slide right. And adding the shoulder shimmy on top. So it may take you a while just to get the shoulder shimmy going. And you're going to feel it. You're going to feel it back here. Our arms are up and our shoulders are going. And just keeping our arms up for a period of time, you'll start feeling it, which is great. Then you know you've got it in the right place. So now we're going to add it to our rib circle. So I'm going to break down the rib circle. We're going to start with our ribs off to the left. We're going to go clockwise. So my ribs are to the left. I'm going to bring them forward and I'm going to slide them to my right, and then I'm going to take my upper abs, my diaphragm, I'm going to pull it in to bring my rib cage back, and I'm going to slide it over to the left. So in our rib circle, we have side-to-side motion plus forward and back. So when I'm going forward, I'm using my upper back muscles to lift my rib cage and bring it forward. I'm going to take my upper abs, my diaphragm, and I'm going to pull it in to bring that rib cage back. So I have forward and back, forward and back. I don't want to go forward, really squeezing my shoulder blades to really lift it out here, and then bring my shoulders in to collapse my rib cage back. You want to keep your shoulders in the same place by using your upper back muscles to lift that rib cage, and then your diaphragm to pull that rib cage back where you're not slouching down. Your shoulders are staying in place. Okay? So we're going to add our side, our lift, our side, and our back by using the upper abs to pull that rib cage back in. So we're going to slide it, lift it, slide it, pull it back. We're going to round those corners off so it's a nice circle being drawn around our feet. So I'm going out with it and pulling it in, going out and pulling in, forward and back. Now we're going to go the other direction. So I'm going to start on the right. I'm going to lift to the front, so I'm going counterclockwise, pulling it in and going to the side. So I front, side, back, side. Front, side, back, side. Okay, so we're drawing a circle around our feet or our hips, whatever body part you would like to think of. And I'm keeping the hips still, just the upper body. So now we're going to add that beautiful shoulder shimmy on top of our rib circle. So let's get the ribs going first. So I'm going to slide it to the left, going clockwise, over to the right, pulling it back, front to back. Now add the shoulders on top. Again, keeping the hips still, isolation, not using your arms, using your shoulders to add that shoulder shimmy on top. Okay? Now let's go the other direction. So I'm going front, side, back, side, front, side, back, side. Keeping the shoulders going at the same speed. Sorry, I'm trying to keep my arm down so I don't block the camera. And around. Good. So now we're going to add it to our rib 8. So we're going to draw an 8 with our ribs. I'm going to start again over to the left. I'm going to bring my rib cage up. I'm going to center, lower it, slide it to the right, lift the rib cage up, slide it to the center, and down. So I've drawn an 8 with my rib cage. So I'm over to the left. I'm lifting, centering, dropping, slide, lift, center, drop. Remember, posture is bent, seat tucked, everything is nice and relaxed down here. We're just concentrating on the rib cage. Sliding, lifting, dropping, sliding, lifting, dropping, sliding, lifting, dropping. So I'm drawing an 8. And it's all on the face of the body. So I'm not doing the lift this way and pull in. I'm sliding to the side, lifting on the trunk of the torso, dropping down, sliding, lifting, sliding, down. So it's all on the front of the body. So we're not moving front and back. So let's add our little shimmy on top of this. My arms again are going to be out. I'm going to start over on the left, and I'm going to come up, center, drop, slide, lift, center, drop, slide, lift, center, drop, slide, lift, center, drop. So I'm drawing an 8 on the upper body with the shoulder shimmy layered on top. Good. So let's review everything. Then I'll start down with the hips, posture, abs engaged, shoulders down, chest lifted. We'll start with a slide with the shimmy. Hip circle, I'm going clockwise, so I'm going left to right. I'm going to stop on my right. I'm going to go in the other direction. And I'm going to go forward figure eights. I'm going to stop here on the right, backwards figure eight. The whole time keeping the shimmy going. Good. Upper body, slide, rib slides, rib circles. I'm going clockwise, and I'm going to stop, go counterclockwise, keeping it all up in the shoulders, and then I'm going to draw my eights. Up, center, down, up, center, down. Good. I hope this helps. Layering is a lot of fun. I mean, you layer and you probably don't even know that you are layering because you're doing your footwork, you're doing your hip work or upper body, and you're adding arms. So you've already got 3 layers going on just one movement. Next week, we're going to make it a little more complicated, adding moves and little combos together. So have a great week, and thanks for stopping by.